I've spent most of my adult life saying yes. It's not accidental, it's baked into how I see myself. My handle across most of my social media platforms is literally @YosSaysYes. And that was never meant to be ironic. It's been a fundamental mantra that's guided the way I live. Say yes to opportunities, say yes to people, say yes to building, showing up, leaning in. And to be fair, that instinct has opened a lot of doors for me, but it's also cost me more than I've always been willing to admit, because yes doesn't just create possibility, it creates obligation. It stretches your time, it divides your attention, it quietly reallocates your energy away from something else. And over the past few weeks, becoming a dad has forced that into focus in a way nothing else quite has, because suddenly, yes isn't just about me anymore. Every yes lands somewhere, and more often than not, it lands at home. This week's Torah portion is a double parsha, Acharei Mot-Kedoshim. So yes, another 2-for-1 deal. 2 kavanot, 2 directions, and I think one underlying demand. Acharei Mot literally means after the death. It opens in the shadow of what happened in last week's parasha, when Nadav and Avihu, the sons of Aharon, brought an offering that the Torah describes as an eish zara, a strange fire, and they died in the process. And the Torah doesn't just move on, it responds by drawing new lines. Access is limited, entry is controlled, there are boundaries now around space, around action, around who can go where and when, which can feel restrictive until you realise what those boundaries are doing. They're not there to shrink life, they're there to protect it. Because without limits, even something sacred can become dangerous. Even something well-intentioned can spiral. Even something holy can burn. And that lands differently for me right now. Because if I'm honest, I've built a life that assumes I can keep saying yes indefinitely. Yes to the meeting, yes to the extra project, yes to helping out, yes to being available. But becoming a dad has exposed the flaw in that system, because time is not elastic, energy is not infinite, attention is not neutral, and every yes is also a no. I don't just choose where the no lands. Sometimes it lands on rest, sometimes on presence, sometimes on the people who didn't ask less of me, but received less anyway. So the first kavanah I'm carrying this week from Acharei Mot is this: to honour boundaries that protect life. Not as restriction, as responsibility. Because saying no is not a moral failure or a failure of generosity. It's a decision about what I'm actually protecting. And the question I'm asking myself this Shabbat is, where does my yes quietly become resentment? Where does it start as openness and end as depletion? And then the Torah pivots. Kedoshim begins, Kedoshim to you shall be holy, which sounds lofty, almost abstract, until the parasha starts listing what that actually means. Pay people fairly, don't exploit the vulnerable, don't lie, don't take revenge, love your neighbour. No mysticism, no grand gestures, just behaviour, repeated, observed, felt by other people. And this is where the 2 parshiot collide in ways that feel almost a bit exposing, because once you accept that you can't say yes to everything, the next question is, so what do you say yes to? And how? Because holiness, according to Kedoshim, is not measured by intention. It's measured by impact, by how your choices land on other people, by whether your presence creates dignity or erodes it. And I think that's the second shift that's been happening for me since becoming a dad. It's not just about setting boundaries, it's about how those boundaries are expressed, because a rushed yes can be careless, but a careless no can be just as damaging. Tone matters, timing matters, attention matters. The way I show up, or don't, shapes someone else's experience of being valued. So the second kavanah I'm carrying this week from Kedoshim is this: to strive for holiness through ethical living. Not in theory, in interaction, in the way I answer, the way I decline, the way I prioritize. And the question I'm asking myself is, who is affected by my choices that I rarely think about? Who absorbs the cost of my decisions without being part of the decision? And for you, one question to sit with this week is, if you were a little bit more deliberate about your yes and a little bit more careful with your no, how might that change the way the people around you experience you? Because Acharei Mot and Kedoshim together push in the same direction. Your limits matter, and your behaviour matters, and the space between those two things, that's where a life gets shaped. Shabbat Shalom.